Welcome back to another race for the Manufacturer Series. And this was one very exciting race, to say the least. It was not the most action, but at the end of the race, it was starting to get really spicy. And, you know, I did a good qualifying time. I was faster than everybody else. And I got first, and I was half a second faster in second place. So I knew if I kept it consistent, it was going to be a clear win with no mistakes, of course. You know, racing, it never goes your way sometimes. And it happened to me. Most of the race I was dominating up until I believe the 8th lap. And it just took a turn for the worse, but still brought it back in first. So let's start. So my whole goal here was just to keep it consistent. I didn't want to get the fastest lap. I didn't want to, push the car too much to, induce a mistake. So I kept it very consistent. Not much happened. Second last, still first place. The pack is still tight. Third lap, not much happened. Just kept it consistent. And on the second lap, I noticed Lugs was approaching me, and I saw he was getting closer. It's not like he was, I was, losing him, but he was getting closer each lap. And I was like, okay, I just gotta keep it consistent, I'll be good. And I didn't worry too much about him. He wasn't close enough to make a move. And as you can see, he had the fastest lap, and he actually had the fastest lap the whole race. But I knew, you can do one fast lap, but if you can't keep doing that consistently, you're not gonna get anywhere. So, I just kept doing what I had to do, just kept it consistent. And he started getting very close at one point, as you can see. If I'm not mistaken, he was like 5/10 away. But no worry, no immediate worry at least. Just kept it pushing, kept going. You can just see how close he got. This is when I started, noticing him a lot more. I knew he was there about to make a move, so I just kept him kept a close eye on him, as you can see, but he made a mistake, went wide. I got a better exit. But that's the thing about, racing in general. You want to know when to push and when to just stay back. As you can see, he went very wide onto the gravel. And, he started just losing time there. He went wide here too. Missed the apex, and I knew he was, pushing too hard and inducing mistakes. So, I just kept it consistent. You can see, I just got a pretty good gap again. But, just kept it consistent, and he just started getting farther and farther away. He was just pushing too much. See. And I believe the gap here was about 7 to 8 seconds, and that just goes to show, just being consistent, not overdoing it, not pushing too hard. You just want to stay consistent, because it gets you, farther into the race. You don't always want to be the fastest. Of course you want to be the fastest, but if you can't be fast and consistent, then what's the point of being fast or even trying to go fast? So I knew I wasn't gonna have the fastest lap, hands down, you know, but I knew I was gonna keep it consistent. And you know, just kept pushing, you know, kept pushing. And let's fast forward to the 8th lap. Now this is when it got spicy. So it was actually the 9th lap. So when I was practicing going into the corkscrew at the top, there was this certain spot that if you went through that spot straight, your rear end would lift up and you would lose complete control of the car. It happened to me once, only once while I was practicing out of the 100 laps that I've done. So it didn't dawn on me to, you know, avoid that. So, you know, I just kept, I was in my zone. I was, you know, just going, and it happened. You know, it was the worst feeling ever. But right here, let's pause it for a little bit. And I knew it happened once I couldn't turn. I turned and the car just went to the right. I was like, oh man, I already knew. So as you can see, let's go to camera angle better. Right there, both wheels in the air. And I knew, once I felt it got really light and I couldn't turn, I already knew it was already too late. And that's that specific spot right there. That spot which would do that. I don't know if it'll do it with other cars, but for the Sylvia it did. And man, did I feel like, oh, I was like, oh, this is the race right here, it's over. But you know, I just had to keep pushing, and it happened to me. So I recovered really quick, backed up, and I had engine damage, you know, body damage. Not big of a deal, the body, but the engine was. I was just trying to push the hardest, and it was just getting away because of the engine damage. And I was there like, man, like, oh, he's gonna run away and I'm not gonna be able to catch him. But then it repaired itself. Didn't take too long. So here I just had to push. I was 110% here. I was giving all I had, honestly. And I knew I could catch up to him. I knew it. You know, it was just a matter of staying focused and not doing any mistake. So I just kept pushing and pushing. And I was looking at the delta and it started decreasing. So I knew I was gonna start catching up. And within the first lap, it was down to about a second on the delta. And here this is the lap he did a mistake going to the right. He got into the gravel, he went too wide, and you know, and he got right back on the track, and I was like, oh man. And I tried to go through the inside, but I clipped him and I just pushed him further. And, you know, I was calm. It was the 11th lap, you know, it's not the last lap. I still can do something. But I was close enough to make a move, and I wanted to get in front of him because when we go into the pits, you want to be the first one there, so you can be the first one out, because you're just gonna pit at the very last lap. So here I go for, oh, I didn't go for the move, but I did. So I wasn't planning to go to the move. Actually, I wasn't planning, but I saw he went wide when he missed the apex. Like, he went like to the right. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'm gonna go to the left and I'm gonna just go around. Boom. But honestly, I don't know. I'd say I gave him enough space. Like, he didn't have to turn all the way. He could have easily just, you know, ride the curb, but he decided to turn in. And, you know, I'm not even touching him at all. But, you know, he just decides to do a right turn, you know, on a left, no, he decided to do a left turn on a right corner. I don't know why, but he did. And, you know, let's just go back to his camera and see, you know, boom, he clips me right here. I was like, oh man, I clipped him. I was like, oh fuck, like we're gonna crash and this is just gonna be the end of the race again. Boom, he loses control and clips me again. You know, that I can't avoid, and I understand why that happened. You know, he can't avoid it either, but it all could have been avoided, you know, if he would have turned right on the right corner, but he didn't want to do it. So boom, he clips me, he loses control. You know, I didn't have it as bad. You know, the man's facing the hill. That's pretty bad. But I was still, you know, facing the track. So I just got back on and kept pushing. And I knew third place was right there. And I heard the Alfa Romeo screaming right past me, so I couldn't do much about it. But it was down to the chase now again on the 11th lap. And I knew he wasn't the fastest driver. Like, I'm not gonna say the man's slow, but he's definitely, you know, slower than me. So I knew it was just a matter of pushing. And the Alfa Romeo was a very good, you know, straight line speed car compared to Sylvia. I noticed it coming out the corners into the straights. You know, I really couldn't catch up. So, you know, I'd had to make a move or he would have to make a mistake. And, you know, I didn't want to make a move that will make us crash, because that will only just, you know, make it worse, and lugs in third place would just go straight to first. So I wanted to play this patient. I wanted to see what I could do where he was doing his mistakes and just watched him very closely. You know, like there, he went wide, and you know, I have a better exit, so I'm catching up. And on the corkscrews, he goes very wide. As you can see, the exit speed, the Alfa Romeo, this is crazy. But it was all about playing it smart. I didn't want to make a dumb move that will get us both into the barrier. So I was thinking of going for the move, but I was a little too far. So this is the 12th lap, and I had to get in front of him. In this race, you have to pit first. Like I said, you have to pit first. So I have to get in front of him. It doesn't matter if I'm a millisecond in front of him. As long as I'm in front of him, as long as I pass that line first for the pit, I'm good. So here, you know, he goes wide. I'm going into the inside, see what I can do. I'm committed on this corner here. I'm in this inside. I give him enough space, but he has a better run on the exit. I'm like, alright, perfect. So here, I see he braked late. Clips the sausage and goes wide. And perfect time to you know, capitalize on his mistake. That's all it is about. You capitalize or you make a move. It's one of the two. And you know, this was perfect. As you can see, you know, he's right there in front of me, like behind me. He's very close. So I knew it was gonna be a close race at the end. So, you know, even me pitting first, we're gonna be right there to each other. And this pit is extremely long. This is probably the longest pit I've ever been in. It's a whole minute long. But you know, the pit crew changes the tires, you know, the whole minute long. As you can see, right behind me is the Alfa Romeo. And right here, it's weird. When you brake, you guys get so close to each other. I don't know why. But I heard the Alfa Romeo, and I was like, oh man, he's right behind. So here, I miss a gear. But I covered the inside. I didn't want him to make a move. And he went wide. But he's still there. He's close. He's still a danger. He's close enough to make a move if he has the courage to do so. But I knew I just had to bring it home. I didn't want to push it too hard. I was on hard tires. You can see I'm going very wide. Missed the apex completely. And he's just catching up. Alfa Romeo is just a monster. And you know, I mess up this corner too. But I knew I was good in the corkscrew compared to him. You know, that was his weakness. So you can see, oh, you see, that's it. He got lucky. He got lucky. I didn't even know that happened to him, but as you can see, he hit the same spot I did, and it got loose. Ooh, and he made a mistake. But boom, he made the mistake. I just had to bring it home. He was so far. It's just I could take it slow, and just like that, you know, brought it back home. Coming from 2 crashes and still bringing it home to first, it's incredible. But you know, it just goes to show you just can't give up. You really can't. You just have to keep pushing. You just have to recover and keep pushing, because you never know what could happen, you know. But it was a fun race. Definitely a fun race, you know. And it's definitely one to learn from, actually. You know, I'm definitely not gonna break in that same, you know, spot ever again. So, you know, and the race was fun overall. You know, not much happened the first, I'd say 15 minutes, but the last 5 minutes were I'd say the most adrenaline rush I've had for a race. But you know, it was fun. But yeah, you know, just have to keep pushing, staying consistent, and that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you till next time. I'll probably upload a video this week on a daily race, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys this week.